So the coronavirus, this is absolutely remarkable. This new research is published in the New York Times. Apurva Mandavili is the author of the piece, and it's titled, and it's in today's New York Times, nytimes.com. How often can you be infected with the coronavirus? And, you know, back in the day, when Trump was promoting the idea that everybody should just go out and get infected because then you'll have natural immunity, and natural immunity is always the best immunity, and we'll have herd immunity. Won't that be great? And as a result, 900,000 people who didn't have to die died in the United States. But it was all predicated on this theory, and it was purely a theory at the time because we had no experience with this COVID virus, on the theory that once you got sick with this, you would have lifelong immunity. That was the sales pitch that Dr. Oz and Donald Trump and who was the other crackpot doctor that he had? Scott, I'm forgetting his last name, the guy who was, and then there was Ronnie Jackson, the president's doctor. I mean, there was a bunch of them, right? And there was, Scott was the guy who was the leader of the FDA there for a little while, as I recall. Scott Atlas, thank you, Sean. And you know, what these guys were all saying was, yeah, go ahead, get sick, get coronavirus, it'll give you immunity. Well, this literally from today's New York Times, the coronavirus has become more adept at reinfecting people. Already those infected with the first Omicron variant. Now keep in mind, some of these people are people who got the very first Omicron 2 years ago, and then they got Delta last year, and then they got Omicron this spring. So to continue, those people may go on to have third or fourth infections even within this year, researchers said in interviews. And some small fraction may have symptoms that persist for months or years. In other words, long COVID. And they said it's really difficult to quantify this because so many new infections, second, third, fourth infections, are not being reported because they're being, people are doing home tests. I just ordered 8 new home tests. You know, the federal government is offering more free home tests. And, so this, it says that leaves everyone, even those who have been vaccinated multiple times, vulnerable to multiple infections. Now, I've worked in Central Africa on multiple occasions over the last 30 years, and malaria is ubiquitous there. And I'm wondering if the coronavirus is going to end up like the common cold, that it's going to become, we're going to become more and more used to it, it's going to become less and less toxic, or it's going to end up like malaria, where if you're wealthy living in Central Africa, you can live a lifestyle that avoids mosquitoes and not get malaria, or if you do get it, there are medicines for it. But if you're poor, it kills you. And is that going to be how coronavirus plays out in the United States? Is it going to be like malaria in Central Africa, or is it going to end up being like the common cold, or both? Actually, I think, the malaria thing is, that's the metaphor that I think is most likely, but heaven only knows. Also, there's new variants coming down the road. So anyhow, what are your thoughts on that? We'll pick up your calls after the break.